I do. There are rooms you step into and shift the air without uttering a single word. There are people who feel unsettled just by your nearness. I do. Not because you cause them harm, but because your light uncovers what they've tried to keep hidden. Do. If you've ever questioned why your presence feels overwhelming to some, but divine to others, stay close. I do. This message is for the soul that has been shrinking itself to fit into places it was never meant to hide in. There are souls who walk into spaces and stir hearts without lifting their voices. You may be one of them. I do. You may find yourself on the receiving end of glances heavy with doubt, words lined with subtle rejection, I do, or silences that feel louder than thunder. And you've wondered, why do some step back when all you gave was presence? I do. Why does your very being feel like too much for those who barely know you? I do. It is because your energy introduces truth where falsehoods have rested too long. You are not noisy, but your presence is powerful. You do not need to argue or prove. Your essence speaks before your lips do. I do. There are people who have lived in smallness for so long that your natural brightness unsettles them. I do. People who've built masks so carefully fitted they forgot they wore them, until your spirit, steady and unshaken, reminded them. Do. And they resist, not because you are wrong, but because you are real. When you walk with confidence and not arrogance, I do. When your peace is rooted in storms survived, when your joy is not an act but something earned through wounds and nights of struggle, you disrupt what is built on fragile ground. And so people may step back, they may meet your presence with distance, with envy veiled in politeness, or with criticism disguised as concern. But what they are really doing is protecting themselves from the mirror you carry. You are not only a person, you are a vibration. I do. You are a reminder. You are a walking truth whispering to every false part of someone's life. Be still. I do. Be seen. And not all are ready to be seen. Some are still trying to make a home inside their hiding place. I do. They are still surviving by dimming their own light. So when they see yours, unhidden, I do, unapologetic, it feels like a challenge to everything they thought they had to surrender. They create distance, not because you harmed them, but because your very presence proves shrinking was never required. I do. You move as proof that healing is possible, that joy can be found, that peace follows storms. And that terrifies those who have not yet given themselves permission to live beyond pain. Powerful auras do not wait for permission. I do. They do not beg for belonging. They do not water themselves down to fit into shallow places. I do. And so the response from others is often resistance, not because your spirit is offensive, but because it is honest. And honesty always disturbs what has only been pretending to be whole. You don't speak to be seen, nor move to be praised. Yet when you step into a room, conversations slow, eyes shift, and some grow restless without knowing why. You've noticed it, the quiet. I do. The distance, the unease when all you did was arrive. You have asked yourself if you are too much or not enough. But the truth is far simpler and far more sacred. Your presence is a mirror. And most people have spent their lives avoiding their reflection. There is something about you that stills chaos. I do. You carry awareness that does not scream to be heard. It hums. It flows. I do. It radiates from your very skin and moves through your silence like wind through trees. You do not need words to be understood. I do. Your energy has its own voice. It calls out to the truth in others, and not everyone is prepared to respond. You do not enter rooms to take space, but to center it. People feel their own weight in your stillness. I do. Those hiding behind performance begin to feel uncovered, not because you pointed them out, but because your authenticity throws light into forgotten corners. And in that moment of exposure, that trembling second of truth, they face a choice to lean in and hear what your presence awakens, or to pull away and guard the illusion they have built. When you sit in silence, the room shifts. You're not trying to command it. Your soul simply calls order where disorder ruled. I do. You carry wisdom not found in books but earned in fire, in nights where ashes became lessons. I do. You carry strength shaped not by rebellion but by surrender to what is true. People feel it. I do. They sense the battles you've overcome without you telling them. They feel the forgiveness you've given, the healing you've chosen. I do. The weight you've released. You are a reminder of what they too must face. It is your calm that unsettles them. I do. It is your eyes that see too much and your silence that listens too deeply. You are not here to amuse. You are not here to blend. Do. You are not here to dilute your presence for comfort. You were formed to carry a vibration that stirs remembrance in others. I do. And so even when you do not speak, your presence talks. It speaks to the buried child within them, to the pain they never admitted. Do. To the dreams they once whispered in the dark. You don't have to push anyone to think deeper. Your energy quietly invites them. I do. You don't demand reflection. Your stillness encourages it. You don't chase connection. Your authenticity attracts it. Do. You walk with depth that cannot be imitated. And true depth makes people pause. It makes them reflect. It makes them feel. And not everyone is ready to feel. Not everyone is ready to be still. Do. Not everyone is ready to meet themselves in the presence of someone who already has. You don't shout. You don't brag. I do. You don't storm into spaces demanding attention. Yet heads turn, air shifts, voices stumble. It isn't because you do too much. Do. It's because you don't perform at all. You are rooted in who you are, and that alone shakes those whose lives are built on weak ground. I do. You are the contradiction to everything falsehood relies on. They are not shaken by your words, but by your presence. I do. Not by your strength, but by your peace. You move with grace carved out of pain, polished by persistence. Do. You have no need to impress because you've already survived what tried to end you. I do. You've already made peace with parts of yourself others still run from. And when those who haven't done that work meet someone who has, I do, they feel it not as inspiration but as disruption. Because pretense thrives on masks. It thrives on noise without depth. I do. When you show up whole and steady, you rattle the stage they built. You speak without speaking. You reveal without trying. I do. Your eyes cut past the surface and rest on truth. And for many, that is too much. They prefer pretty over real. I do. They prefer being admired over being seen. And when you step in, they realize their costume never fit as well as they thought. I do. You are intimidating not because you demand, but because you don't. You don't need approval to feel worthy. I do. You don't trade your values for validation. You leave when peace is broken, even if it means standing alone. I do. And that quiet strength is unsettling to those who depend on constant applause to feel alive. You are not harsh. You are simply steady. I do. In a world where people bend to every wind, your refusal to shift is radical. You see through things. You hear what goes unsaid. I do. You feel energy before words appear. People sense they cannot trick you, that you see past the smile, past the act. I do. Past the polished image. And so they step back or discredit you or label you as distant. Do. But what they really mean is you cannot be controlled, you cannot be manipulated, you cannot be blinded by glitter or noise. I do. Authenticity takes courage, it demands truth, and truth is sharp. When you live in truth, I do. Those still clinging to illusions will see you as threat, not because you expose them, I do, but because your very being reveals what they've tried to cover. You are not intimidating because you are loud. I do. You are intimidating because you don't need to be, because your spirit stands tall without effort. I do. Because your integrity speaks louder than performance, because your energy confronts without force. You are not here to compete. Do. You are here to be, and that alone is stronger than any mask. You don't shout to be noticed. You don't storm into rooms. You simply arrive, and the air knows it. The atmosphere bends not because of force, but because of presence. Your spirit walks before you, steady anchored, and in a world addicted to noise, your silence rumbles like thunder. You carry peace. I do, not because life spared you, but because you learned to find stillness in storms. I do, you made quiet your shelter when everything screamed for your ruin. You became peace by refusing to become what tried to break you. I do. You did not harden, you healed. You did not retreat, you transformed, and now people don't know what to do with you. I do. They cannot understand how you can be both soft and unshackable, kind yet untouchable, present yet free of chaos. Your peace is not weak. I do. It is the product of long work, tears with no audience, prayers whispered in trembling breaths. I do. That kind of peace disturbs anything built on unrest. Those who thrive on conflict find no grip in your presence. Those who stir gossip cannot catch you. Those who thrive on drama cannot hold you. Because you do not feed chaos. You recognize it, and you step away, and stepping away without noise leaves them shaken. Your boundaries are too clear. Your exit is too clean. I do. You refuse to match their chaos, and that leaves them exposed. Your peace is not just calm, it is authority. It says, I know who I am. Do. I know what I won't allow. I know the worth of my energy and the weight of my presence. In a world where many are performing, you are simply being. That truth pierces disguise. It surfaces what others try to bury beneath business and pride. You become a mirror to the unsettled. They see you and are forced to see where they abandoned themselves. Your peace calls out their unrest. Your joy unmoved by applause reminds them contentment cannot be faked. You are not the enemy. You are the evidence that another way is possible, that healing is real, that peace is attainable. But peace cannot be borrowed. I do. It must be built, and building requires tearing down what is false. Your peace is disruptive because it is real. It doesn't beg. I do. It doesn't prove. It just is. You don't need to defend or explain your soul to those committed to misunderstanding. You just live. I do. You just breathe, and in doing so, you shift the air. You remind the wounded that stillness exists. I do. Remind the restless that chaos is not home. You carry peace that makes noise without sound, that speaks without words. And that peace is power. A strange quiet follows souls like yours. Souls that know their value, but don't demand to be seen. I do. Souls that speak truths others are not ready to face. You walk as presence, not performance. And because of this, you often find yourself misunderstood, not because you are unclear, but because you are too clear. Not because you lack warmth, I do, but because your fire burns steady inside. You don't fit molds built for the predictable, I do. And so you are often mislabeled by those who don't yet know themselves. People see you and feel something stir, a reflection of who they wish they could be if only they had courage to break their own patterns. You carry grace that doesn't shout, or strength that doesn't flaunt, silence that isn't empty. And for many, that's confusing. I do. The world teaches them to equate power with volume, leadership with dominance. But you lead by being. You influence without trying. That confuses those who only see value in noise. You are not simple to figure out. You are not someone who lays everything bare. You move like the sea, layered, deep, mysterious. Those who only want surface waters will never grasp your depths. I do. They may misread your quiet as pride, your stillness as coldness, your discernment as distance. But beneath their confusion lies respect. I do. They may not name it, but when you speak, they listen. When you move, they notice. When you rise, they feel it. Because even in their confusion, they know they are near someone who has done the work, someone who has faced pain and not grown bitter. Someone who has walked through fire and come out shaped, not shattered. You don't preach your wisdom. You don't argue for rightness. I do. You live in alignment, and that unsettles those who still pretend. You don't water yourself down. You don't conform for approval. You would rather walk alone in truth than gather a crowd in lies. That devotion to authenticity brings respect deeper than applause. I do. You may not be welcomed at every table, but they echo your words when they are lost. They may not grasp your boundaries. I do, but they know not to cross them. They may never admit you inspire them, but they will try to imitate your calm. I do. You are not the loudest in the room, but you are the one remembered when the noise fades. You are not the most agreeable, but you are the most aligned. And in time, even those who misjudged you will respect you, not because you changed for them, but because you never changed at all. You walk knowing who you are. You speak with the authority of survival. I do. You love with the wisdom of one who understands what love costs. And though it may leave you isolated, your truth remains whole. You are not meant to be easy to define. You are meant to be felt, experienced, remembered. Misunderstood, maybe, but never mistaken for less than what you are, rooted, rare, respected. You do not enter spaces to blend in. I do. You shift the air without effort. Your energy is undeniable. It doesn't ask permission. It announces itself in silence. I do, in eyes that see beyond masks, in presence that stirs something ancient in people. You do not settle at the surface. You go to the soul. For some, that is too much too soon. For others, it is exactly the spark they needed. Your very being confronts what is stagnant in others. I do. Without a word, you become a mirror that shows people who they are without disguise. Some will step closer. I do. Trembling but willing to face themselves. They will rise not because you told them to, but because your spirit dares them to believe. You awaken the hidden hunger in them to be real, to be bold, to be healed. But others will run, they will retreat, avoid, or dismiss you. I do. Not because of anything you did, but because they are not yet ready to meet the version of themselves your presence calls out. And you must know this is not about ego. It is not about pride. It is about alignment with truth, and truth always disrupts. I do. You don't cling to what is fake. You don't settle for what is shallow. You don't bend for what is lukewarm. You move with depth. I do. With fire, with clarity. Those who cling to comfort will choose retreat over growth. But do not dim yourself for them. Do not shrink to be easier to hold. Do not dilute to be more acceptable. You are not meant to make all stay. You are meant to spark choice. I do. You are the line. You are both invitation and warning. Some will rise because of you. Others will flee. But either way, you were the call. I do. Either way, you left them with a decision they cannot ignore. And what a gift to be the one who reminds people of who they could be. I do. To be the one who makes them question their fear. To be the one who interrupts the ordinary with a glimpse of the extraordinary. You may be misunderstood. You may be called intense. You may be abandoned by those not ready to grow. But your presence is your power. Your very being is both the test and the lesson. And even those who run will never forget the moment they were faced with the choice to rise.